Hey friends, Scott Barber here, Reflections from the Rev. On Wednesday, we're in Philippians chapter 2, working through this one of the most beautiful passages of Scripture here as it talks about the love of Christ and its example for us, especially in hard times. And one of the metaphor that comes to mind for today is tipping the scales. And have you heard of that before? That metaphor of tipping the scales, and that means oftentimes when the scales are tipped, it's in the favor of another direction. That means sometimes that can be unjustly, as if the wrong weights are used to tip the scales in somebody else's favor, that cheating or whatever. Or it can just mean the tipping of the scales means that the evidence is so heavy in one direction, it's easily proven. But the scales of Jesus' love tips the scales in the direction of choosing to love others instead of fear, instead of loving ourselves. And let's look at this passage here and see how this works itself out. He says, remember from yesterday, if there's any encouragement, if you've received any encouragement from Jesus, if he's blessed you in any way, if you've received any kind of comfort from his love, if you've been touched just by the unconditional grace and love that he loves you no matter what kind of crap you're in, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, if you've received any kind of comfort from that love, if you've participated in the Spirit, you've felt that power, that equipping by the Spirit, if you felt any sympathy and affection from his love, again, that he steps into your pain, that he embraces you as you are, if you've received anything from Jesus, that tips the scales. It totally changes things in terms of how we should act, right? So the instinct is for us to be all about me. When things are going rough, when it's hard, when the suffering, when the craps hit the fan, when things aren't going our way, our instinct is to think about us. Or if we've been harmed, if we've been hurt by others, what's our instinct? Well, we think about us. We get angry. Maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe it's not fear. Maybe it's anger on your part because of how you've been offended or hurt. But our instinct is to think us, and the scales get tipped in the favor of me. I need to think, I need to get mine, I need to react, I need that person to feel how I feel. But Paul is saying here, no. When we look to love, if we've tasted love in any way, shape, or form, it tips the scales. Love always tips the scales. Jesus puts his finger on the scale and says, heck no, it's not about you. I showed you. I give everything for you. You can give a little bit for others. That may mean, friends, that in the circumstances where we're in anxiety or anger, that we don't give in to that sharp tongue, that easily being provoked. That I'm just at my end. I'm just done, and I don't have any patience, and I'm just going to let you have it. Or that means that not giving in to that anger of you've wronged me, you've offended me, and I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to give you the full force of my sense of justice and rightness here. And so it doesn't mean, what the love tipping the scales for us doesn't mean that we don't speak up. It doesn't mean that we don't advocate for what is right. But it means that how we do it is in such a way that it benefits others. It doesn't mean that we're not fearful genuinely. It doesn't mean that we don't deny the uncertainty of our circumstances and the anxiety. We acknowledge that, but we don't give into it. When we engage the love of Christ, when we look to the love of Jesus, we receive that comfort, we receive that affection. It tips the scales. We don't give in to that anxiety and make assumptions and false accusations of other people. We don't subversively just get mine in the situation and neglect others. So, friends, let's look to love. Love tips the scales. Let Jesus tip the scales. Let him cheat on us a little bit, if you will, and push those scales down and tip the scales and let us love others. Let's give graciously. Let's choose our words carefully. Let's not react but let's respond with the love he's shown us. All right, friends? Be blessed.